live. Says we're live.
Oh, I got it.
Nope.
Oh, I got it.
18.
Say something funny.
Check, check, check.
Say something funny. Got it.
Talk to the kids or type something.
Howdy, kids.
Who else on here?
Damian
Mr. Luggage
Larson.
is on here. DW, Bride G, Scud Fisher, Don Lovejoy. Poor Don Lovejoy, I tell you what. He's got to be hating us. We can't seem to get anything right for that guy. Nay is on here. Nay's playing this Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
Nay and
DW?
DW, yeah. Nay, so officially, let's see, officially, Chris Girardi is now tied with Nay, so he finally caught up to her, so they're both tied at, which is actually, could be a good thing for Nay. It's actually, sometimes you want to have a little bit lower influence. So there are both advantages and disadvantages to being in the lead. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is let's see, I had a few questions as well. How are we doing on time, sweetie?
2
We're
minutes.
going to go live in just a little under 1 minute. Talk to the kids about something. What fancy have we done this week or going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Have we done anything?
I don't know. Has anything gone on this week, or have I mowed?
We mowed. We got in the pool.
Yeah, you got your pool going. What were those questions? I wanted to find those questions that we did.
My brain's not firing. I apologize.
It's okay, you were sleeping.
I was asleep. We could talk about the Titanic.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Fine. I'm going to make you watch that.
Go ahead.
No,
What, you mean the movie?
Yeah,
Why would I watch that movie?
because you haven't ever watched it.
I have not. Boys and girls, it is true. I have never watched the Titanic movie. I guess that's a thing.
Of course it's a thing. Yes, the on-air light was a Father's Day gift.
Father's Day gift.
Nay just spoiled the end. Typical Nay.
The boat sinks.
No, he dies.
Oh. So, let's see. Put on my hat.
You should.
So we've been doing some redecorating, reorganizing, trying to straighten the place up around here at Casa Paul Valley. And so put up some brand new shelves. And new toolboxes or new storage cabinets, I guess we should say,
fancy ones.
for storing terrain and miniatures and things like that. So
You wanna give him
after a
sneak peek
while,
of it?
I think that what?
You gonna give him a sneak peek of it?
No, not right now.
All right.
But while I was cleaning up, while I was cleaning up and reorganizing and throwing some stuff away because I like to save things because I know I'll eventually get around to using it. Haven't used it in the last 10, 15 years, but there will be that day
There will come a time.
eventually when I'll say, hey, I wonder where that thing is that I stashed away 15 years ago and waited until now. But the cool thing is that I found one of these, and I think we want to give one of these away.
Maybe put it on this one.
So this is pretty significant. So we're not going to do this tonight, but I wanted to share it with you a little bit.
It's not tonight, kids.
It's not tonight, but tonight we're going to talk about it and let you know what to do and yada yada. So what it is it's an old version of this thing. You want to give me that camera? So it's an old version of this. So way back when I was making this thing, so this is the little, I call it a card boot, but it's not really a card boot. It's just a holder. This thing here. So I found I don't know if this version is earlier or later. I don't know if this version was the earlier type or if I changed it and made it smaller. But basically, this version is slightly bigger than the version that we normally use. And I'd like to give one of these away. Does anybody think they want this? Let me know if you think you'd like to have this. So you'll have to put it together yourself. You'll have to paint it yourself. I ain't going to do any of that. So it has a little middle piece here. And then it has two side pieces that you glue on. Use like a super glue, a CA glue. And put that in there, and then you can paint it. You might need to do a little bit of cleanup on it. I'm not going to worry about that as well. So there's a little bit of roughage there, that maybe some soap and water and a scouring pad to kind of pull some of that stuff off of there. But if you would like one of these, we're going to give this away.
Did you ever find the STL file for that?
I don't know. I don't know if I found it or not. Oh, Marty Devine. Marty Devine was asking about Marty. Is Marty on here? Was he the one that asked?
No, that was it.
We don't sell any STL files at all, Scud Fisher, which eventually I guess we're supposed to, because that's like the wave of the future, right? That's what the future has to hold for people, is STL files. Nobody's actually going to buy miniatures in the future. Except maybe from us, because we don't do STL files. So, Marty, I apologize for not getting back to you sooner, but the answer was no. I cannot send you the STL file for Phantom Ace. And the reason is because I made an agreement with the original sculptor, Andrew Ray in Scotland, who did all of our initial STL files, or all of our initial miniatures, that we would not distribute the STL files. So none of our original STL files are available for distribution. Some of our more recent stuff, we could possibly get away with that eventually. We'll figure out how to do that, but mainly it's not really a big concern of ours right now to figure out how to sell STL files, because I'm not really that bright, and I don't really know how to go about doing that, other than I don't know that our store, you can upload STL files on there or not. I don't know. I haven't figured out how to do it.
It's the wave of the future.
Nor do I care to figure it out at this point. So I have to just kind of do what's within my bandwidth, which is very, very narrow.
So how are we giving this away?
Oh,
so
yeah, we're going to give this away next Thursday. We will give it away next Thursday, and it will be a drawing, and it will be based on leaving a comment on this Sunday's game. So it's going back to that method.
Mm-hmm.
So We will give this away next Thursday. So if you want a chance to get this, be sure and so it's got like the Pulp Alley thing on the side. I don't know if you can see it on there or
Yeah.
not. I don't know if it's showing up very good there. But it's got Pulp Alley on the side of it, on both sides there. Uh, I suspect that this may be an identical piece that it was just printed twice. Kind of lazy on whoever designed this. I think that might have been me. But I have to admit that I have a 3D printer which I'm inching ever closer to getting set up. Like it's actually now on the.
It's out of the box.
It's out of the box. It's set in the box for
at least 6 months.
About 6 months. A 3D printer. I got a Photon Pro Mars something. So now it's out of the box and sitting on the desk where it's going to be hooked up. But I haven't actually turned it on or even plugged it in. So I have to do that. Dave, just wait a couple of years and Max can set it up for us. Oh, thank you, Scott. That's a good idea. Wait a couple more years. Of course, by then we'll have like holographic printers and stuff. It'll be like in 2 years, the technology, by the time I unboxed it, it was already out obsolete. So this was, gosh, how long ago was this made? How long ago was I actually doing 3D printing? I bet this is 8 years ago is when I printed this. She says 8 years. I believe her. So Earth calendar confuses me. So this is part of my old 3D printing escapades from long, long ago. But I'm gonna try and give one of these away next Thursday. We'll do the thing, and to get entered, you do obsolescence. Yeah, but it will be obsolete.
Oh, but it'll be cool and retro.
Oh, by then, in 2 more years. Yeah. Oh, Dark Side of the Moon. Okay. So I wanted to tell you guys real quickly just about a Kickstarter. A big thank you to everybody that enjoyed the second Star to the Right video that we did. A big thank you to Damian Larson for painting those up for us. I think he had a lot of fun with those. I think he had a lot of fun painting those up and did a good job for us. So big thank you to Damian Larson. Adolescence. Ian Lovecraft, the fellow that sculpted all of those, and just, in my opinion, one of the best 3D sculptors out there right now, has a new Kickstarter going right now called Frost 2. Not Frozen 2, but Frost 2. And it has some really cool, like mage sort of characters, some really cool terrain. Definitely worth going over and checking out. So we are even doing a special scenario for it. So if you back that, you'll also get a special Pulp Alley scenario to use with the miniatures that are in there, or whatever miniatures you have on hand, because that's the way Pulp Alley works. I did have a few questions from folks, and we're going to go through just a few quick rules questions. One person was asking about how to create NPCs, and technically, all characters are created the same in Pulp Alley. So whether or not you're creating an NPC or a player character or a bystander, whatever you're making, you typically just use the same rules. And yes, they can be different levels. So you can have an NPC that's level 1, you can have an NPC that's level 2, or a sidekick NPC. An NPC is basically, and we have those in our scenarios. We have multiple levels of NPCs all scattered through our scenarios. NPC basically just means that, it's a non-player character Other than that, it is a character on the table, and it does have rules that control its movement and how it's supposed to fight and things like that. There is no technically there is no limit to the number of NPCs that you can put on a table, but the number of NPCs that show up is directly related to the scenario. So if NPCs appear in a scenario, then it should be part of the special rules for that scenario.
Yeah.
You typically don't just go, here, I'll just throw an NPC out there. You could, like, you could do like a smash and grab scenario and say, okay, well, I just want to put an NPC out there. But then you need to state what that NPC is there for and what they're supposed to be doing and that sort of thing. So if you do put an NPC on the table, then and it's not already part of the scenario, then you want to have some sort of rules about it. So that was the questions about NPCs. And then somebody was asking about defensive fire. So here are some defensive fire questions. If I have the 2-gun ability, can I use it with defensive fire? And the answer is no. And if you look at the defensive ability, if you look at the 2-gun ability, it'll explain why it cannot be used with defensive fire. So real quickly, we'll look at the 2-gun ability. It says, what's per turn after resolving a shootout? And I can stop reading right there because defensive fire is not used during a shootout. Defensive fire is specifically used when someone rushes you. So defensive fire is a specific rule. It doesn't just mean a counterattack. It is specific to when someone rushes you, you can use defensive fire. And when someone rushes you, they're creating a brawl situation. So it is not a shootout. It is a brawl, and it is resolved as a brawl. So right there, 2 guns cannot be used because it's only used during a shootout. It is not used during a brawl. Somebody asked about, do I get, if I'm rushing somebody, do I get a cover save versus defensive fire? And again, that is a no, because again, cover only relates to shootouts. It does not relate to brawls. It does not relate to rushing. That considers that you're kind of making yourself an inviting target, even if you had something like what is it? There's an ability that says you're always in cover. Even if you're always in cover, cover only relates to shootouts. It does not relate to going in and brawling someone. And again, that makes you more vulnerable when you're rushing at somebody. Somebody was asking about, do you have to have line of sight for over 3 inches, or can you use defensive fire if they just come around the corner? And defensive fire is not limited to the amount of line of sight. That's not part of the rule. So if you look at the rule, it simply says if they moved over 3 inches, and it's a very straightforward, it's a very clear rule. There's no if, then, but sort of situation. If they moved over 3 inches, then you can use defensive fire. Can I split my fire with defensive fire? Well, no, you cannot split your attack and attack somebody that's rushing you and somebody else. Specifically, splitting your dice will say that it can only be done during your own activation. I'm not going to look that one up right now because we're moving kind of quickly tonight. Bessy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Vice Alley. Okay. So if you guys did not see the super cool game that we played last Sunday, Chris Girardi had his go at the Spectre, playing the Queen's Gambit scenario, and did not get it done last Sunday.
That wasn't last Sunday. That was the Sunday before, wasn't it?
Oh no! Can I? Can I split my fire to make s'mores at another location? Yes. Yes, Mr. Luggage, you are allowed to do that. I don't have enough hobby time now.
No, I
Here.
lie. It was last week. You're fine.
Yeah. Hobby time is slim these days around here too. Message redacted. Is a whole nother hobby in itself. Yeah, I guess that's maybe why it hasn't even been plugged in or turned on yet. Because I have too many things stacked up already that I have to get through. What?
Your other Father's Day gift.
You want to show them?
You can show them.
So here's another. There were many, but here is another Father's Day gift that we got. Little fella. Little fella has replaced Mr. Skull. So um so yeah, it's kind of obscene. I guess it's a fertility idol that if you have one of these, you know, it's kind of obscene. Uh Puts out videos and I order Peter Pan figures before I realize what I've done. I have a lot of 3D files on Kickstarter that have barely begun to print things. Yeah. Hope you were chased by a giant boulder getting it. No, not this one. It came in a cardboard box. It belongs in a museum. I need a bag of sand.
We did
That
discuss
is
the bag
true.
of sand.
We did discuss the bag of sand. I was carefully weighing to see exactly how much sand I needed in the box. But adorable, adorable. I like it. I'm glad she got it for me.
I'm a giver.
That is true. That is true. Let's see. So the Vice Alley scenario, I guess the thing, and Chris did a really good job on Sunday. He didn't get it done, but even on that last turn, even on the last turn of the game, he had a path to victory. I think the 2 3s that Bessy drew for the henchman.
Shuffled?
Just imagine if she had not drawn that 3 for that warehouse, and there would have what?
More red herrings. No, wait, no.
You didn't draw any red herrings.
No, but we're not playing that scenario this week.
No.
So we're fine. There's not any red herrings.
No red herrings this week. So that was big, but even then, he still had a path to victory, albeit narrow. So if you play that scenario, and I want to give you one little bit of advice, I think if you don't eliminate 3 of the pedestals, if you don't take out 3 pedestals, you got a very, very slim chance of winning that scenario. You really need to focus on taking out 3 pedestals. Now, what threw Chris off is again that he did split up to try and take out 3 pedestals, but that mesmerize hit him early on, and the dog took off, and he never sent the dog back over there to get that pedestal. He went pursuing it. But as long as the Spectre has those pedestals to jump to, you will just chase the Spectre around the table, and it is so hard to get him. He was rocked, though. The fact that Meister failed several of his recovery checks kept the Spectre within reach.
Yeah,
even though there were still 2 pedestals, Chris still could have pulled it off. But I think you're going to be far more successful in that scenario if you almost ignore the Spectre until you get 3 of those pedestals down, and then throw everything you have at the specter. Otherwise, it feels like you're just chasing your tail at times.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It is a really tough scenario. So I think that's what Chris went into it with. I think that was his plan, and then it kind of got sidetracked with some mesmerize and things like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that the specter can bounce around the table is, if you don't eliminate that option from the specter's
Plus,
repertoire.
very short game.
Yes, it is 6 turns. You have 6 turns, and it goes by like that.
Yep.
It is super fast. It is super fast. Let me know what y'all think. I don't know how many out there have played that scenario, but it's definitely a big challenge. Meisner, David Meisner, I think has played through the Vice Alley campaign maybe like twice. So he's seen the Spectre in action several times, both on both sides of it, playing to try and take the Spectre down, or on the other side as well.
Yeah.
And he has never seen anyone defeat the Spectre the first time they go after him and try to face him. I have, but it is super rare because you almost have to take that lump. You almost have to take that defeat to realize this scenario requires some planning and some forethought. That Queen's Gambit really takes a plan going into it ahead of time if you're going to come out of it with any chance at all. Yeah. There are multiple ways of doing it, and I've seen different folks do it different ways. There's not just one path to victory in it, but more often than not, taking out the pedestals is part of that chain of events. All right. Don't miss this Sunday. We are going to, I always have a plan. Wing it.
That's my plan.
That would be fun. Arduino project. See if you could swap the idol for a correctly weighted bag of sand. Very cool. Are you suggesting that bag of sand was not weighted properly, sir? Is that what you're suggesting, Mr. Luggage? Did you not see him weigh it? I mean, the bag of sand was probably about half the size of the idol, and everyone knows that sand is much more dense than gold. So obviously that little bag of sand should have been about the same weight.
Well, actually, it was a little bit high, so he had to take some out.
That's right. It was, he goes, you know what? That's right. Sand is far more dense than gold. I better take some of that sand out. Okay, now it's right.
Yeah, no. Chris did a good job, though.
Yeah, very, very nice. All right, boys and girls, that is all for tonight. Be sure to join us on Sunday for the live game. Bessy, play us out of here.
Is there a certain comment they need to leave in order to enter, or is it just a comment in general? Sunday game, we said they had to put a comment on the Sunday game in order to be entered.
I don't know. I hadn't got that far. I don't know. Do we want to comment?
Just leave a comment. Something peppy.
What does that mean? Something peppy? Snort. They said snort to you.
That's peppy. I like that.
I like peppy. I like snort.
I want something upbeat. Finger guns.
Finger guns. Bessy blue cheese. I read that as something blue cheese. Blue cheese. The comment should include sand. Bag of sand.
Bag of sand.
Have you guys seen our card called Bag of Sand?
Bag of sand it is. Leave a bag of sand comment on the Sunday video.
Doesn't matter. Whatever comment you feel
bag
like
of sand
leaving.
will make me giggle, but it doesn't have to be bag of sand.
And nor does it have to be peppy. Not on this video, Mr.
Sorry,
Luggage.
I want a little pep in my life.
You gotta leave the comment on this Sunday's game. But he's practicing.
You got to get in there quick.
I was practicing. A big thank you to our wonderful Pulp Alley community. You guys are awesome. We really, really do appreciate you joining us. Just makes our evening for sure. Bessy, play us out of here.
Doodaloo, oops. Doodaloo, doo, 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 doo.
Bessy,
Doodaloo, doo, 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 doo.
Dave. And that's all I get. That's it.
Do, 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 do,
Okay.
do, do.